Welcome to Switzerland. Did you know that our country is not just a great place to visit, but also your first-class business location? We are centrally located in Europe and we have the world's best infrastructure. Oh, and the train is always on time, so let's take a journey. Did you know that Switzerland has 4 official languages? Ja? No? Forse? Decidia? Don't worry, we also have excellent English skills. However, we don't spend all day chatting. We love to work. In 2012, we could have voted for longer holidays, and we voted against them. It's crazy, isn't it? But we're not crazy. Our economy and government are among the world's most stable. That, combined with our outstanding talent pool and a deregulated labor market, makes Switzerland the most innovative and competitive nation in the world. Our Swiss dual education system provides an excellent mix of both vocational education and apprenticeships. Now let's take a look at industry. Maybe Germany, the United States, and China are well known for their industrial output. But did you know that Swiss industrial production per capita beats all of them? Sorry, guys. Our country is small, but hey, 3 Swiss companies are among the global top 20 most valuable companies. Furthermore, we offer the best quality of life. That's why 3 Swiss cities are among the world's best for the highest quality of living. In addition, Switzerland is one of the happiest nations on the globe. Perhaps because we eat on average 12 kilograms of chocolate per year? Switzerland is the best location for innovation, has stable political, economic, and financial conditions, has the highest living standard, and welcomes your business. So tell us now, when will you invest in Switzerland? Switzerland Global Enterprise, enabling new business. Find out more at s-ge.com.
For us in the Aditya Birla Group, Odisha has been one of our most preferred investment destinations. Chief Minister Shri Naveen Patnaik's exceptional leadership has been the singular factor in the rapid progress of Odisha. The state government has leveraged its competitive advantages, including its progressive policies and governance framework, are a big pull factor.
Welcome you to Odisha. Come, join the juggernaut.
In healthcare, a vast ecosystem is helping therapy innovators become more patient-centric and more effective than ever before. Cytiva supports researchers, biopharma, and clinicians in the pursuit of more targeted treatments. In discovery, speed and accuracy are everything. The faster and smarter researchers can work, the more patients benefit. To ensure that new, more targeted therapies become reality, we're equipping biomanufacturers with the tools and expertise they need to produce cost-effectively and quickly. How can tens of thousands of individualized patient doses be manufactured quickly, efficiently, and securely? The answer, with a healthy dose of expertise and innovation. We're creating processes and solutions that are scalable and address complex needs. We work to deliver diagnostic tools and other technologies to bring the right therapy to the right patient at the right time, so that life-saving medicines come within the reach of more people and could save more lives. Cell culture, protein purification, biomarker imaging, and analysis. It may not be what most think about when envisioning the future of healthcare, but this is what we do. Our part in changing the world. Advancing and accelerating. Discovery, manufacturing, diagnostics, future therapeutics.
to regulatory compliance is long and filled with choices. With a combination of standards, process, and service, USP can help guide your path to compliant, quality products. Trust the standard that sets the benchmark for medicines. Our robust and collaborative scientific process is part of our comprehensive approach. We offer reference standards that are tied to USP monographs to help you minimize risk and enhance your confidence in compliance. Reduce time and resources spent developing in-house standards and streamline your path to regulatory compliance. We work with independent, volunteer scientific experts who rigorously review and approve our standards, which undergo testing by USP and other laboratories around the world. Ongoing testing of our standards helps ensure the quality of your product over time, and only USP reference standards are linked to official USP NF monographs that provide specifications for the identity, purity, and potency to meet FDA requirements without further in-house qualification and the needs of our global customers. With USP, you have access to our in-house scientific experts to guide you every step of the way. In addition to our best-in-class USP reference standards, we offer training, education, and other services. Our online resources help smooth your path to regulatory compliance. Our standards provide precise testing and validation guidelines, as well as reference samples for testing. Drugs can be made consistently every time. We are more than reference standards. We provide a unique combination of standards, process, and service. From buying to applying standards, we support your bottom line with reference standards that have been rated best in class by our customers. Talk with us to find out how we can help you navigate your journey to regulatory compliance. Contact USP at usp.org.
Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India and its public sector undertaking Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, BIRAC, are organizing the second edition of Global Bio India from 1st to 3rd March 2021 on digital platform. The first edition in 2019 at AeroCity, New Delhi was a huge success with participation from over 25 plus countries, 190 exhibitors, 2,500 plus delegates, 300 plus startups, 50 plus incubators, 60 plus research institutes, 800 plus business meetings scheduling and representation from 9 states. India offers a unique destination as innovation hub and biomanufacturing hub for the world. Large talent pool, growing capacities for frugal innovation and manufacturing of affordable, globally competent products and technologies in healthcare, agriculture and allied area, food and nutrition, waste to value, sanitation and clean energy solutions. biotechnology sector is recognized as the sunrise sector that would have multiplier cascading impact on achieving India's USD 5 trillion economy target by 2024. Government of India initiatives reiterates the significance of biotechnology sector as the sunshine sector. Global Bio India 2021, the largest bio event, which showcase India's biotech sector strength and opportunities at global level. Global Bio India 2021 is expected to draw around 5,000 plus delegates from across the globe. Department of Biotechnology, BIRAC, along with its autonomous institutes, has been at the forefront in the nation's fight against COVID-19. The tableau, India Fights COVID, by Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, showcasing significant contribution of biotechnology sector in the development of vaccine, under Make in India mission, India is now gearing up to become innovation hub and biomanufacturing hub for India and for the world. This happens to be the most exciting time to host Global Bio India 2021, India's largest biotech event. Led by DBT and BIRAC in partnership with CII, ABLE and Invest India. Together, we can transform billions of lives worldwide. Join us on the biotech journey. Global Bio India 2021. Jai Hind.
Welcome to Switzerland. Did you know that our country is not just a great place to visit, but also your first-class business location? We are centrally located in Europe and we have the world's best infrastructure. Oh, and the train is always on time, so let's take a journey. Did you know that Switzerland has 4 official languages? Ja? No? Forse? Decidia? Don't worry, we also have excellent English skills. However, we don't spend all day chatting. We love to work. In 2012, we could have voted for longer holidays, and we voted against them. It's crazy, isn't it? But we're not crazy. Our economy and government are among the world's most stable. That, combined with our outstanding talent pool and a deregulated labor market, makes Switzerland the most innovative and competitive nation in the world. Our Swiss dual education system provides an excellent mix of both vocational education and apprenticeships. Now let's take a look at industry. Maybe Germany, the United States, and China are well known for their industrial output. But did you know that Swiss industrial production per capita beats all of them? Sorry, guys. Our country is small, but hey, 3 Swiss companies are among the global top 20 most valuable companies. Furthermore, we offer the best quality of life. That's why 3 Swiss cities are among the world's best for the highest quality of living. In addition, Switzerland is one of the happiest nations on the globe. Perhaps because we eat on average 12 kilograms of chocolate per year? Switzerland is the best location for innovation, has stable political, economic, and financial conditions, has the highest living standard, and welcomes your business. So tell us now, when will you invest in Switzerland? Switzerland Global Enterprise, enabling new business. Find out more at s-ge.com.
For us in the Aditya Birla Group, Odisha has been one of our most preferred investment destinations. Chief Minister Shri Naveen Patnaik's exceptional leadership has been the singular factor in the rapid progress of Odisha. The state government has leveraged its competitive advantages, including its progressive policies and governance framework, are a big pull factor.
I welcome you to Odisha. Come, join the Juggernaut.
In healthcare, a vast ecosystem is helping therapy innovators become more patient-centric and more effective than ever before. Cytiva supports researchers, biopharma, and clinicians in the pursuit of more targeted treatments. In discovery, speed and accuracy are everything. The faster and smarter researchers can work, the more patients benefit. To ensure that new, more targeted therapies become reality, we're equipping biomanufacturers with the tools and expertise they need to produce cost-effectively and quickly. How can tens of thousands of individualized patient doses be manufactured quickly, efficiently, and securely? The answer, with a healthy dose of expertise and innovation. We're creating processes and solutions that are scalable and address complex needs. We work to deliver diagnostic tools and other technologies to bring the right therapy to the right patient at the right time, so that life-saving medicines come within the reach of more people and could save more lives. Cell culture, protein purification, biomarker imaging, and analysis. It may not be what most think about when envisioning the future of healthcare, but this is what we do. Our part in changing the world. Advancing and accelerating. Discovery, manufacturing, diagnostics, future therapeutics.
road to regulatory compliance is long and filled with choices. With a combination of standards, process, and service, USP can help guide your path to compliant, quality products. Trust the standard that sets the benchmark for medicines. Our robust and collaborative scientific process is part of our comprehensive approach. We offer reference standards that are tied to USP monographs to help you minimize risk and enhance your confidence in compliance. Reduce time and resources spent developing in-house standards and streamline your path to regulatory compliance. We work with independent, volunteer scientific experts who rigorously review and approve our standards, which undergo testing by USP and other laboratories around the world. Ongoing testing of our standards helps ensure the quality of your product over time, and only USP reference standards are linked to official USP NF monographs that provide specifications for the identity, purity, and potency to meet FDA requirements without further in-house qualification and the needs of our global customers. With USP, you have access to our in-house scientific experts to guide you every step of the way. In addition to our best-in-class USP reference standards, we offer training, education, and other services. Our online resources help smooth your path to regulatory compliance. Our standards provide precise testing and validation guidelines, as well as reference samples for testing. Drugs can be made consistently every time. We are more than reference standards. We provide a unique combination of standards, process, and service. From buying to applying standards, we support your bottom line with reference standards that have been rated best in class by our customers. Talk with us to find out how we can help you navigate your journey to regulatory compliance. Contact USP at usp.org.
Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India and its public sector undertaking Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, BIRAC, are organizing the second edition of Global Bio India from 1st to 3rd March 2021 on digital platform. The first edition in 2019 at AeroCity, New Delhi was a huge success with participation from over 25 plus countries, 190 exhibitors, 2,500 plus delegates, 300 plus startups, 50 plus incubators, 60 plus research institutes, 800 plus business meetings scheduling and representation from 9 states. India offers a unique destination as innovation hub and biomanufacturing hub for the world. Large talent pool, growing capacities for frugal innovation and manufacturing of affordable, globally competent products and technologies in healthcare, agriculture and allied area, food and nutrition. waste to value, sanitation, and clean energy solutions. Biotechnology sector is recognized as the sunrise sector that would have
We are live now.
Thank you. A very good evening and warm welcome to one and all for the session Big Leap Early Stage Success Stories. Biotechnology Ignition Grant, we call it BIG, is the flagship program of BIREC, conceptualized in 2012. This was the time when Indian biotech startup ecosystem was at its nascent stage. The world was witnessing a global transformation in innovation ecosystem. India capitalized on the opportunity to become a part of this transformation while creating enabling factors that can lead to the growth of Indian biotech industry. India chose to leapfrog technologically. However, a massive push was needed to tap into the available plethora of entrepreneurial energies. This is how Biotechnology Ignition Grant was launched. Although launching big presented many risks and challenges, it was imperative that we took that leap of faith. Big is one of a kind opportunity available to individual entrepreneurs and early stage startups for funding high risk innovative ideas. Big has been one of the most significant stimulants for the entrepreneurship rate. It has empowered several aspirational entrepreneurs to pursue early proof of concept and embark on their startup journey. BIG provides a funding support of rupees 50 lakhs for a period of 18 months as grant in aid. BIG infuses several efforts entailing from creating awareness about the scheme, access to specialized infrastructure, technical and business mentorship, regulatory guidance, platform to showcase, networking events to get connected with different stakeholders, etc. The scheme is implemented by 8 of its big partners that have synergistically worked with BIRAC to make BIG a huge success. These partners are IKP Hyderabad, CCAM Bangalore, FITT at IIT Delhi, Venture Center Pune, KIT Bhubaneswar, SIIC at IIT Kanpur, Sign at IIT Bombay, and AIDEA NAM at Hyderabad. Their continued support and end-to-end and hand-holding of entrepreneurs and building a community truly reflects the idea of BIG. We have also made our BIG family bigger by adding an additional layer of 11 big associate partners to penetrate into deeper pockets of the country. Within 8 to 9 years of its existence, BIG has revolutionized the landscape of early stage funding in biotech sector by supporting close to 600 innovative ideas. More than 50 of the products evolved from nascent ideas developed with BIG support have already reached the market. More than 200 IPs have been filed by BIG innovators. As progressive stages of proof of concept is established, technology risk reduces and equity capital becomes more accessible. So many of them were able to raise investment from different sources, private as well as public. More than 1,500 manpower has been skilled through BIG. Many of them have won national and international awards and accolades. BIG has truly encouraged the rise of first generation entrepreneurs to step out of their comfort and take the entrepreneurial plunge by developing a clear-cut entrepreneurial mindset. BIREC is committed to promote the startup culture, which can be seen as the future of this country as well as the world. The future awaits, and BIREC is there welcoming it with open arms. Thank you so much. Now, moving forward with the agenda, may I request Professor Rishikesh Krishnan for his special address. Professor Rishikesh Krishnan is Director and Professor of Strategy at the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. He has been listed in the Thinkers 50 India list of most influential management thinkers from India. Apart from publication in academic journals, case studies and articles in the business press, Professor Krishnan has written two books: Eight Steps to Innovation, going from Jugaad to Excellence, which won the Best Book Award for 2013 and 14 from the Indian Society for Training and Development, and From Jugaad to Systematic Innovation, The Challenge for India. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Taranjeet, and thank you for inviting me to this session. Good to see some old friends. Hi, Dipanvita, and hi, Manish, and others. Professor Padmanabhan, namaste. Good to see you as well. Uh, I've been sort of involved peripherally with the biotech sector for many years. I cannot claim deep expertise in this sector, but as a student of innovation and someone who has spent more than 20 years of his life studying innovation in India, obviously biotech has been one of the sectors which has been a subject of our study. I had recently had an interesting experience because I had a chance to look at some of the startups supported by BIRAC with a 12 to 13 year gap. In 2008, I was involved in a review of what was then the fledgling SBIRI program, which was even before BIRAC had formally been formed. So this was being run by DBT. And recently, I have been part of a review committee of all of BIRAC's programs. So this gave me a kind of unique opportunity to see how the biotech sector has grown and evolved over the last 13 to 14 years. And what we saw has definitely been very impressive. If you look at almost any parameter, whether you look at the number of enterprises, the quality of ideas, the kind of comparability to international benchmarks, on all these different dimensions, I think we can say the Indian biotech sector has done quite well. So let me just spend a few minutes just giving my perspective on what do I think are the strengths and weaknesses at the current point of time, and what do we need to do to really give a kind of fillip to this sector so that we move quickly to the next step. When you look at the biotech sector today, one thing which is very obvious is the large number of very talented entrepreneurs. I think there's no doubt when you look at talent and skill, we have really excellent people in the country, and that's reflected in the large number of startups. If we look at BIRAC alone has probably been associated with more than 1,000 startups. And if you look at the broader ecosystem, we are talking upwards of 3,000. So essentially the number of startups reflects the vibrancy of this sector. We also, as Taranjeet mentioned in her introductory remarks, we've also seen quite a few startups being able to take their products or technologies to the market. So we have at least 150 products or technologies which have been commercialized out of the different startups that BIRAC has supported over the years. So that's pretty impressive when you look at the progress of commercialization. And if you look at the scope or you look at the range of biotech activities, also it's very impressive. We are seeing across different spectrum, whether it be healthcare, whether it be agriculture, whether it be nutrition related. I mean, in almost every domain, there's a significant number of startups, though, of course, there is some skew towards some of the sectors. So these are certainly some of the things which seem very positive about this sector. Now, let me come to, I wouldn't like to call them weaknesses, but I certainly like to refer to some of the challenges which the biotech sector seems to be facing at this point of time, particularly when we look at startups. One thing we saw quite a lot of is a lot of startups who are in the sort of pre-commercialization stage, sometimes even pre-pilot, but there's a lot of kind of clustering maybe around the proof of concept kind of stage. But that seems to be a stage at which many startups are getting stuck. So that's one challenge we can definitely see. The related challenges to this are things like regulatory, particularly those which are working in healthcare related areas. Even though BIRAC has been providing a lot of support on the regulatory side, it appears that regulatory challenges are still significant for our startups, particularly those working in the healthcare sector. And there's an urgent need for both the government and supportive agencies to work on how can we make these regulatory processes smoother and easier to navigate for these startups. The third area where we see some challenge is even if you have a proof of concept, how do you scale it up? the kind of testing facilities, manufacturing facilities, etc., which are required are quite specialized in the biotech sector. And the investments required for a small startup to take a product and scale it up are very significant. And we still haven't really created a sufficiently strong manufacturing infrastructure which can work with some of these very talented startups to take their products to the market. So that seems to be another area where there is room for a lot of thought and improvement in how can we get, particularly specialized manufacturers or maybe clusters built around some of the existing incubators and accelerators who can work with the startups and take their products to market. Another challenge is, of course, is regional skew. We see a lot of concentration of the startups around large cities. That, of course, is inevitable in the early years, but I think going forward, we need to find ways of democratizing the process and making it more accessible to people in smaller cities. If you look at a map of the incubators who are working closely with BIRAC, you'll find there are whole parts of the country where there's no current incubation facility located. And that's another gap which needs to be filled quite soon. So these, to my mind, are some of the immediate challenges. The last one I could mention is, of course, maybe a better connect with the market. While many of the startups are solving what they think are interesting problems, and maybe they are in an absolute sense, but one of the reasons we don't see enough commercialization is perhaps because the market link is not so strong to start with. So when the startup comes up with a good solution, sometimes it doesn't go to the market smoothly because maybe it's not really addressing one of the priority needs. Maybe it's not addressing something for which there is a crying need in the market today. So that increases the barrier to taking the product or the technology to market. So I would just sum up by saying that I think the Indian biotech sector has done wonderfully well. We've seen the capabilities of the sector reflected in India's response to COVID, which has certainly been much better than perhaps many of us imagined. The startup sector has also played a huge role in making that happen. But one of the things we should realize is that our managerial capabilities also got stepped up during COVID. The government, agencies like BIRAC, even incubators, everybody got involved in coordinating with each other to make some of the things which were required to combat COVID. When we go back to business as usual, whether that coordination, that kind of joint working will happen or not is something which remains to be seen. But unless we manage to somehow continue that spirit, I'm a little concerned that maybe the biotech sector will find it challenging to remain on the same growth trajectory which it has been so far. So let me just stop here. Once again, let me congratulate BIRAC and everyone else involved in organizing this conference. Thanks for inviting me to this session. And my best wishes to all the biotech entrepreneurs who are participating in this conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your words of encouragement. I now request Professor G. Padmanabhan for his keynote address. Professor Padmanabhan is former Director, IIC, and Senior Science Innovation Advisor. Professor Padmanabhan is the recipient of many prestigious honors and awards, such as Sarma Memorial Award, Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award, Bhasin Award in Biotechnology, Renbexy Award, and many more. Recognizing Professor's contributions, the Government of India also honored him with the Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan awards. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Taranjeet. It's been a pleasure to participate. First of all, let me congratulate all the entrepreneurs who have done very successfully move up the ladder. Maybe follow-on funds or going through the BIRAC system. And as you all know, BIRAC has been a phenomenon ever since late Dr. Ban conceived it as a SIBRI proposal, as Dr. Rishikesh mentioned. And it has grown beyond imagination with applications and so on. And Ignition Grant, or BIG, has been the jewel in the crown. Really meant for innovative ideas, youngsters, young entrepreneurs, because it was realized innovation will come from them. And so let me congratulate all of them. But every program has a coin. Like a coin, there are two sides. As Dr. Rishikesh pointed out, I want to
We are not able unable to hear you. We are not able to hear him. No, sir. Not yet, sir. Probably bandwidth issues.
Sorry, Rohit, were you saying something? I missed it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Yes, sir, we can
Yes,
hear
sir. We can hear you, sir. Yes.
Sorry. So I don't know at what point of time you couldn't hear me, but I was congratulating all the entrepreneurs here, and then said every program is like a coin. There are two sides. I was talking about the other side, and I wanted to point out that in a recent review, we found some of the projects were not as exciting as they used to be earlier. So every program gets tired at some point of time, and it needs the rejuvenation. That was the point I was trying to make. And I'm going to link it with something else. After a great deal of effort, maybe 2 years of deliberation, we introduced the AIR scheme, Academic Innovative Research. This is for people who have been in the field for, say, over 10 years, published papers, filed patents, but didn't have the time to translate. There are many academia in this country like that. But what happened really was the number of such proposals were few. There were a large number of non-serious proposals who are not. So the committee, Rohit knows about it, and we spent a lot of time filtering. So that AIR scheme itself needs modification, which is undergoing. What I want to point out is we need to have a series of workshops between potential entrepreneurs who are seeking ideas with established investigators who didn't get into translation and would be very happy to share their ideas. There are many. They have filed even patents, but never. We all know, I don't know the present statistics, hardly 2% of the patents get exploited. So, whether we should have maybe you can work out the logistics and how to do that. I'm sure potential entrepreneurs can register and have all these established investigators who have not translated their ideas and who are looking for someone who to take them forward. I suggest, I feel it's worth it because these people have enormous experience, not only experience, many great ideas, never translate. Simply produce PhDs, published papers, even filed patents, but didn't take it forward. But I am sure they would be happy to, and there are young entrepreneurs who are prepared to take the risk. Some of the younger ones who have taken the risk, unbelievable. They put their own money to come forward. It's not the 50 lakhs, 18 months they are depending on. Now, this is one point I wanted to make. The other point is many of the newer ideas, like whether AI, IoT, even 3D printing, the project team is not complete. Whether, I want to give an example, whether it is medical or whether it is agri, they are very good in the AI application, but there is no clinician. So you develop a diagnostic, and then the couple of clinicians in our committee point out 100 issues in that. Then only the presenter seems to know, I never knew this. In agri, similarly, we find, people have come up with projects like a buggy moving, and, there will be a spectral camera and they will find out the disease and then automatically it will spray the pesticide, or a drone will go. But then there is no agri expert. Our experts simply ask, the width between the rows of plants and whether your buggy can move? They have not thought about it. I'm just giving extreme examples. What I want you, but they will all say, no, we are consulting somebody, so on. Consultation is not enough. They should be part of your team. Then only they have that commitment, whether it is a medical field or whether it is a agri field. I think this is also, the team must be complete. This is the time. And the third is, COVID has taught us a lesson. I said it in the morning also. What was taking 10 years, 15 years has been possible within 2 years. And I don't think they have sacrificed sensitivity or quality or ethics. So this is going to be a challenge for all the young entrepreneurs. People may think even 18 months is a long time. So we have to be prepared. These are very, very new kind of challenges. And the last point I want to make, I don't expect every young entrepreneur to become a manufacturer. In my personal experience, I find they are all looking for going up to phase 1 or going up to a proof of concept stage and then license it out. Now, this is where I think the country needs to recognize. Some of them will become manufacturers, others may not. They may be looking just by licensing out their idea and move on to something else. This is something which I even feel big industries should adopt. This happened in the United States. We know in biotech. Big pharma companies had the muscle power but didn't have the upstream knowledge. So they simply adopted the biotech companies. I have a feeling now this should happen in this country so that, all the young entrepreneurs, they know they have a way out. If they don't manufacture, they have a way out. So I thought, these are the few points I wanted to make, and again want to congratulate all those who have taken the leap, who already made the leap or in the process of leaping. Congrats all of you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiration. So now we'll proceed for the launch of Idea to Market booklet. May I request Professor Padmanabhan and Professor Rishikesh to launch the booklet? With your permission, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, we are happy to launch.
Thank you so much, sir. So we request the IT team of CII to please present. So the Idea to Market booklet features interviews from 17 Biotech-supported startups working under the various domains of assistive technology sector. These innovations include assistive technologies in speech and hearing impairment, locomotor disability, visual impairment, and intellectual disability for children and adults. The booklet also showcases interviews from key opinion leaders. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us for the launch of this book. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Over to you, Shilpi. Thank you. Thank you so much, Taran. So we now proceed to our panel discussion.
For the panel discussion, today we have representation from 5 BIG supported startups. We have Mudit from Dozy, Sachin from Module Innovations, we have Arvind from FlexMotive, Renuka from Bioprime. I don't see Partha. Has Partha joined us? Partha hasn't been able to join us. And we have, among our technical mentors, we have Dr. Rohit Srivastava from IIT Bombay. We have Mr. Rajiv Ayappa, who is an investor from Plataforma, and Dr. Manish Diwan, who is the Head Strategic Partnership and Entrepreneurship Development, BIRAC. The session will be moderated by Dibanavita Chattopadhyay, who is the CEO of IKP, Life Science Knowledge Park. Over to you, Dibanavita ma'am. Please take the session forward.
Thank you, Shilpi. So it's always been a pleasure to be among startups, and especially when we have Professor Padmanabhan overseeing the discussion. It's fantastic. It's great to have you among us, because I have to tell you, he said 20 years, our IKP is also 20 years. So a lot of things happened in this 20 years, and we have crossed paths so many times with so many stakeholders of the innovation ecosystem in India. It's always very nice to be with all of you. Rohit, of course, I know him at least for the last maybe 13 or 14 years. The Grand Challenges, I think 2013. I think that was the first step. So fantastic. As Taranjit mentioned, we have 5 innovators, and out of 5, Partha has not waited. I have Dr. Manish Diwan and Vastav and Rajiv Ayappa. So I would start with Manish. I know he has to go for another session. And it's good to start with him. So Manish, the question for you is, BIG has evolved so well. Would you consider it, what would you consider a success for BIG? So we keep saying BIG is a great success, but what will actually be a success? What would you say, wow, I have done it? What is that? Manish? Shilpi is...
I think, can you hear me?
Yes, no. So there's some breakage, but...
Sorry about the sound quality. So I think what BIG has tried to build is an entrepreneurial culture in the country, especially in the biotech sector. That is what it is. It has the core focus. I was actually looking at some statistics, and in 2016, we had about 1,022 biotech startups in the country. And we had set out a target of 2,000 biotech startups by 2020. I'm very happy to report that we actually crossed that target, and we reached to 3,300 in 2020 itself. Today, when we had actually rolled out the bioeconomy report, we are now happy to say that we are 4,300 biotech startups in the country. And within that COVID period of 1 year, we got about 840 new biotech startups set up during this time. So I think that is what BIG has brought. BIG has brought a culture of biotech entrepreneurship in the country. And it has created a pipeline of aspirants. This being a national level competitive grantee-made scheme, so only 10% of the applicants typically get through. But imagine we have already primed remaining 90% who could not get awarded but have got into this initiative and on this difficult to tread path. So those 90%, and then each time, the success rate changes. So that is the power of it. It has also brought biotech entrepreneurship, culture, ownership beyond BioRec, as well as many of got 5 beautiful examples here. 4 of them participating within this session. All have actually made their mark and presence felt at international landscape. So I think that is the biggest success for this. Thank you, Parmita.
Thank you. Just a follow-on question. It's been so competitive now. In the last review, I saw that most of the startups were asked to show preliminary data, and a lot of substantive data was asked for. Are we missing some of the out-of-the-box ideas? Just because it was earlier a POC, and we are asking for so much data. Should BIRAC consider a pre-big idea grant now?
I think with once you have success, right, the expectations also increase. So when there was nobody, did the big ideas, so those were the low-hanging fruits, and even immediately those were recognized. The capacity building happened, and you would notice that it took almost like 8 to 10 years for them to mature to a successful enterprise now. What big big aspirations have also changed over a period of time, and as you would notice that even in the large industries, the time to R&D, time to reach to market, that is getting shrunk. So because we are taking advantage of not only research done in our own laboratories, but we are also referring and science advancement across the world. So it's quick to kind of validate, confirm, and then move forward. The technology advancements have also happened. So the expectations, in my view, have also gone up. So people think that if there is a stronger substantiated proof of concept in just technical feasibility of that idea, why don't we prioritize that? And those which are still in motion can build it a little bit stronger so that they have more confirmation of their idea to going forward. I will just add one thing here, Dipanjita, that previously we had noticed that big grantees would take 2 years, 4 years to actually seed a startup. Now we have seen that almost 95% of big grantees within 18 months of time, which is the big time frame, they actually seed a startup. So no, you have empowered them with a tangible roadmap and going forward. And yes, to the other side, we have initiated a pre-big activity which we call this as EUA and BIS Sitare, so as to build a much stronger pipeline for big. So to answer to the concern that you are raising, so that has been addressed in one way, and that bandwidth, that base of the pyramid would be much larger. That becomes a pipeline for big.
Thank you. So let me turn to our startups now. Let me talk to Sachin and Arvind first. So can you describe the problem you are solving and how is big grant useful to you?
So
in 2 minutes, maybe.
Let me start with that. So modern innovations actually is into the area of infectious disease diagnosis, rapid diagnosis. So we realized the requirement of diagnostics being rapid right in the year 2015, when incident in the family member where a UTI infection was not diagnosed in time led to severe complications. Now probably we feel that the thought we had like 5 years ago and which BIRAC supported very well is now being realized with COVID pandemic. So mostly we work in the area of infectious disease diagnosis. A primary product is USense, which is for urinary tract infection. So essentially a 15-minute test that could determine the presence of the organism. Now, again, a follow-on product which is being made is called as AST Sense, is doing the antibiotic susceptibility in 2 hours. So the entire process of doing a culture and sensitivity for 2 to 3 days has been shrunk to 2 hours and 15 minutes. So that's a 2-minute introduction to what we are actually doing.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Arvind? Please unmute.
Please unmute, Arvind.
Sorry. So coming back, our company's name is Flexmotive, and our vision is to change the way or the perspective of mobility aids of disabled and injured people from a survival and stigma to an empowerment and confidence area. Right? This is because majority of the disabled people have very poor quality of life. Their health outlook is minimal. They have very low self-esteem, etc. Primarily because the design was almost like designed for 100 years ago. So right now with biomimicry and flexible materials, we make these products to be all terrain. And with this, people get the confidence to walk independently. So in many of our customers who are primarily wheelchair users were able to walk on crutches or rather take partial weight on their legs for the first time in their life due to this but our innovations. Now with the first, we got the BIOEC 12 grant, and through that we were able to execute a multi-centric study. We did rapid prototyping and validation on them. We were able to achieve industrial design and also the first phase of clinical trials, and this result we used to get further rounds of funds. So right now we are selling quite well. Now we're planning to scale up.
Great. So let me come to Renuka, Bioprime, and Mudit. The question to both of you is, okay, 50 lakhs grant, we all know about that. What else did you get from the BIRAC ecosystem? What other help? Mudit first and then Renuka.
Sure. So 50 lakh was, the starting seed, which was great. But after that, we also got support in the form of LEAP, and also with BMGF as well. We got another grant as well from GC, right? So that was another one. In fact, even during the COVID pandemic as well, right? So when we were looking to deploy our devices pan India, right? So for that is as well starting seeding one that we got, but and then eventually orders started to flow and we were able to self sustain as well. So the support was all throughout, I would say, through the journey, and right from the point when it was a POC to now we are a VC funded company, right? It has always been there. Yeah.
Thank you. Renuka, what's your experience?
So Bioprime was founded with the aim of bringing back pride and profit to the farmers. We make biologicals which help make crops climate resilient. We've got funding after BIG. We got funding for seed, which is an initial market test run. It allowed us to do a small pilot in a controlled area. This was very helpful because we got customer feedback. We were able to iterate on the product and achieve somewhat of a product market fit. We got a follow-on funding, which is equity investment from BIRAC, which is LEAP. This was very helpful for us to set up a scale-up facility. So we are able to now have a manufacturing facility which is able to produce 20,000 liters of liquids and about 100 metric tons of granules. So helped us achieve all that. Besides this, I have been very fortunate enough to have the Ignite grant, which helped me get training and mentorship and support from Cambridge. This came at a very, very crucial point for us because that was a point where we were deciding how to go to the market. And that strategy advice was a game changer. It completely pivoted the path we would have taken And had that not been there, we would not have been here at this stage. So today we are selling 5 products in 9 states through 2 channel partners. So I think a large part of it is because of the timely funding as well as the mentorship and support. One more thing I wanted to add is on the regulatory aspect. So we make biologicals. Just 2 days before the biological guideline was announced, because we are a BIRAC funded company, we were allowed to point of view in the aspects, So this is very, very phenomenal, and I'm very.
Unfortunately, Renuka, your signal is breaking a little. So we'll come back again to you. At this point, so what I'm realizing, and Manish, Professor Padmanabhan, Rishi, all of you see that how big is just the beginning. And big leap is actually, everyone is talking of the leap fund. So where actually the leap is, you leap to the leap fund. So that's fantastic. So Rohit, my question to you is, you've seen the BIG, actually the scheme evolve. What is the most significant change that you see now?
So thank you very much. And good afternoon to all of you. My personal view, Dipanvita, is exactly what you said, and Professor Padmanabhan was saying, a while back. He mentioned that, it has been a long time, 12, 15 years now that BIG has started. We've made a huge impact, and it is going forward. But what we are seeing now is lack of ideas, and lack of innovative ideas in BIG, which is where, the committee now is looking at it differently. BIRAC itself has many of these schemes that are funding these innovators for 10 lakh rupees, for 5 lakh rupees. So what the committee now feels is, looking from the big perspective, we feel that, take some of those small funding, work on an idea and then come to big, to get the proof of concept done. So I personally feel that this is the change that we are seeing in big, is that many people now are coming with a lot of preliminary work, which means that they have been working on that idea. They've actually talked to a lot of people. And what Professor Padmanabhan said, the best way to do that is now link them up to academicians, which will give them many more, ideas in the years to come.
So what you're saying, Rohit, is that the ecosystem has grown significantly. So fantastic. I come to Rajiv now. Rajiv, you've seen several other grant programs, I'm sure, both in Singapore and India. Yes. Is there anything unique about BIG that you'd like to share with us that you don't see elsewhere? Or what is it that is unique that you think? How does a scheme like this help in investor confidence when you're putting in your own institutional money, when you look at an early stage startup, like a big funded startup?
First of all, apologies. I'm in the airport just pushing some luggage through, so you'll all have to bear with me. But what is good about the system that the BIG has created is the amount of extreme cases. It's a good thing and a bad thing. The amount of extremes are kind of limited. The second thing that it does is, since there is a very structured system right from the day you're even applying for the BIG, that's something that we look for because we know what we are getting into. Even if a company or a startup goes in and doesn't get through the actual BIG, doesn't get the grant, we actually keep looking at them through early stages. So it gives us a good mix of really good and people who win, as well as some people who may not win and are slightly out of the box startups. That's the way we look at the BIG. And lastly, and very important, the mentorship that BIG comes with, the advisors, that actually propels startups, probably I would say 5x or 10x of where they would have been without those mentors. So these are 3 or 4 key things that we really appreciate in the system created during the Biotech Ignition Grant.
Music to my ears, and I'm sure it's music to Manish's, Taranjit's, Shilpi's ears. So, when you say 5x kind of value addition, 10x, so that's huge. And we hope to go ahead and be able to make such change. Now, let me turn to all the 4 entrepreneurs and ask the same question. If you have to change one thing in the big program, what will that be? And I'll start with Sachin.
Okay, so very interesting question, ma'am. I think the time when we applied for BIG, in the initial instance, we got rejected. So we had to work upon our idea furthermore, and then we went to the committee and presented it, was got shortlisted. So I really don't know what is to be changed. To be honest, the flow of decision at that moment of time was little slow, but now it has changed significantly. So it is never considered that BIREC is an organization where it was like a few years back. It has changed phenomenally. So I would like to congratulate, and rather would say that it should continue the way it is continuing.
Renuka? Any one thing that you want?
Yeah, I actually echo Sachin's thoughts. I'm extremely pleased. So earlier we saw very little of AgTech, but now over the years AgTech has become a very major focus. So I'm very happy to see a lot of AgTech happening. So I hope this continues and we see more of ecosystem evolving around AgTech as well. More support on regulatory, like there is, structured everything for pharma and medical. That is lacking in the ecosystem. So not for BIG specifically, but for the, definitely want them to look at a structured support for regulatory and AgTech. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. That's very useful. Mudit?
I would, as an echo with Sachin and Renuka, I'll put a very technical point, right? So I would say that, I think one thing which all of the big grantees would struggle the most would be getting that utilization certificates and things like that, right? I would imagine if I have to change one thing, right, I would probably maybe partner with bank or come up with some portal or some way, right, in which it easyfies the entire thing, right? No one creates value when someone has to go for I think getting the bills and things like that, right? Arranging them in a format and getting back and forth in that. A lot of time, even big partners also, not utilize pretty well in that. Probably that is something which I would overhaul to make it very efficient.
To automate the submissions and make, okay, let's see if we can work on that. Now, Arvind.
Then I will also maybe add in a little more flexibility in changing the, the budget head, the amount in the budget head based on as we progress, because sometimes it doesn't work out the way we planned, right? And then you have to pivot a little bit, and then the timeline involved, both at the big partners and as well as this thing is a little higher. So maybe if that can be quickly brought down, or maybe a set percentage can be set. For a certain variation, that will be great.
Okay, reappropriation of budget heads.
It is
possible. Flexibility.
It is there, but what I'm saying is it should be much convenient.
Sure. Well, thank you. This is useful. Rohit, my question to you is, where do you see the Indian biotech startup ecosystem in 2025? Hi, Rohit. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Am I audible now? Oh my God.
You are audible. Yes,
Okay,
you are
so
audible.
okay, Rohit, where do you think the Indian biotech startup ecosystem will be in 2025?
Professor Rohit, can you hear us? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Rohit, you're on mute. I don't think he's able to see or hear us. Okay, we'll see if we can get back Rohit. By that time, let me see if I can get Rajiv before he boards his flight. Rajiv, the question to you is, normally, I know you work on portfolios, but would you want to chase one unicorn or 10 great valuable startups? What would be the kind of thing that you would be looking at when you're looking at early stage investments?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I dropped out earlier.
Yeah. So Rajiv also, Rajiv, are you there?
Continue. Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, Rajiv. First, Rajiv, you complete and then we'll come back to Rohit because you're in a flux. So
Thank you. So, okay. So, my answer to your question would be we would rather look at 5 or 6 startups than chase one unicorn because it's not a matter of being cautious or safe. It's just that when you are building an enterprise, by the way, I rephrase that sentence again and I repeat that sentence. We're not here to invest, we're here to build enterprises. So when we are building an enterprise, what we're looking at is not purely this many X, like I said earlier. It's also deeper than that. What is your contribution to the overall system, whether it's the ecosystem, it's society, it's impact on the investment itself, impact on that industry. So we look at it from various angles, and therefore it is not only one unicorn that you would chase and then win or lose like a gamble,
Yeah.
but just build an entire set of companies. Today, we have looked at, as a Plataforma Asia, we have looked at companies across Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, and India, in fact, is one of our largest portfolios, where we are looking at agtech, food, and when we say agri, I mean, we all now realize, if you listen to the great minds in our country, we
Yeah.
realize that we spent the last probably 50 years chasing production. Today we know we have excess, so we need
Yeah.
to look further than that. So that's how we evaluate, that's how we look at systems, and I'm happy to answer any further question that comes with this.
Thanks. I think we are also running out of time, so let me go back to Rohit. Rohit, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
So the question was 2025. Where would the Indian biotech ecosystem be? Where are you going to see the startups? What?
Yeah, my view is, what Big has been able to do, what Manish and his team have been able to do is phenomenal. So if they have already achieved what we would have seen in 2025, so I need not give any more for 2025. The only thing that I would like to see is more academicians coming along this route, not than what we have been seeing. So maybe a big dash A would be very nice scheme to have, for 2025 vision.
Okay. Yeah, actually, with this, I will close my panel discussion. Thank you so much, all the panelists. Rajiv, have a safe flight, and all of you have a great day, and all our startups, absolutely, you're winners. Over to you, Shilpi.
Thank you so much, Ananda, and thank you very much to the panelists. So before we move towards the formal closure of this session, and before I present a vote of thanks to everyone, there is a very important task that has been scheduled for this session. There is a small vote of thanks from our side for our experts, mentors. The achievements of BIG scheme and its impact that we see today has significant contribution by the stakeholder community. This community, which comprises our partners, our experts, mentors, reviewers. Today, we have a pool of over 1,000 experts and reviewers from various domains. It's like technical, IP, business, legal, and so on. So these experts from various parts of the country have been associated with us, not just for the review process, but it has been a continuous engagement and a one-on-one mentoring experience. They have been supporting startups, supporting BIRAC, supporting partners. They stand with us as a strong backbone of the ecosystem, supporting every component through and through. So we look upon them for any challenge we face, whether it's small or big. As a gesture of gratitude to the BIG mentor community and to appreciate their efforts, we have put together a short video. I request CII team to please play the video. This is a very short video, a very representative one. I wish we had time to focus upon the pictures of each and every mentor. From the deepest of our hearts, we thank our mentors for being there. So on behalf of BIRAC, I present a heartfelt vote of thanks to all the stakeholders who have helped us scale the Biotech Ignition Grant to a real big level. So BIG is big because of you. We look forward to a continuous support and engagement from all our partners and our mentors. At the end, I thank the speakers for this session, Professor Rishikesh, Professor Padmanabhan for their time, and our panelists for sharing their thoughtful insights. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With this, we close the session for today. Thank you so much.
Bye, sir.